Hi, the book that I'm going to be reading today is called The Young Squanto, and this book is going to give us a little bit more information about the Native American who helped the Pilgrims when they landed on Plymouth Rock after they survived the winter. So this book was written by Andrew Woods and it was illustrated by Chris Powers. Squanto ran through the fields with the other children of the Patuxet tribe. They shouted to chase the birds away from the corn and beans. The Native Americans worked hard to make enough food to last through the winter. They lived near what we now call Plymouth, Massachusetts. When Squanto was about 14 years old, he saw a ship sailing towards the shore. Some of the villagers were afraid of the strange new people, but the sailors brought many things to trade to show that they wanted to be friends. The sailors traded mirrors, bracelets, and combs for the villagers' warm furs. Squanto spent much of his time with the sailors. He even learned to speak English. One day the captain asked Squanto to sail with them on their next voyage. Squanto could help the sailors talk with other tribes. Squanto's father allowed him to go. Squanto was sad to leave his family, but he was very excited to take the trip. Squanto and his friends began their long journey. They sailed along the coast, trading goods with other tribes. One morning the ship suddenly changed direction. Squanto was very surprised. He heard the ship was sailing to England, which is very far away. Squanto was lonely in England and he missed his family, but he saw many new things. He was very curious and asked lots of questions, and people were curious about him. Squanto was not afraid of these people. Squanto spent 9 years in England, but he always hoped he would see his family again. One day a sea captain named John Smith came to see Squanto. He wanted Squanto to come with him to the New World. 2 ships sailed to the New World. Squanto sailed with Captain John Smith. Then one day the captain of the other ship surprised Squanto and captured him. Squanto and many other Indians were taken to Spain and sold as slaves. Squanto was able to escape to England. After several years he found his way home and began to look for his family. Finally Squanto reached the land of his childhood, but there were no crops, there were no people. Everyone had died from a terrible sickness. Squanto was very sad. He lived alone in the forest for many months. One day a Native American named Samoset came to visit him. He told Squanto that there were new people living where Squanto's home had been. Squanto went to see these new people. They were the Pilgrims who had come to this land looking for freedom. The Pilgrims did not know enough about the land to survive. During the cold winter, many people died. Squanto decided to help the Pilgrims. He showed them how to catch fish. He took the Pilgrims to the hunting grounds he remembered from his childhood. Squanto helped them plant corn, pumpkins, beans, and other vegetables. He told the children to run through the fields shouting to scare the birds away, just as he had done as a boy. When fall came, the Pilgrims were ready to harvest their crops. They shared the food with Squanto and their new friends. The smell of cooked turkeys, wild cranberries, and warm bread filled the air. Everybody joined in the feast. They laughed, sang songs, and played games for days. They were celebrating what is now known as the first Thanksgiving, and the Pilgrims had much to be thankful for, most of all their new friend Squanto. And that is the end. I hope you enjoyed this book about Squanto. It was good to know more information about the man who helped save the Pilgrims.